Hello, this is Cindy Blair from the Alexandria Museum of Art. Welcome to another AMoA Art Together Tuesday. Today we're going to be looking at the work of Thomas Barnes. He created a couple of the assemblage pieces that are in our collection. Now, an assemblage is a sculpture that can be made out of just about anything, and that's why we're focusing on it today. We did do some assemblages earlier when we made the boxes, the art boxes that we made. That's a kind of assemblage. Today we're going to make a freestanding assemblage. And I love making this kind of art because you have to experiment a lot. There are no definite right or wrong answers. There's no set process that you follow. There's just a couple of things that you can do to make it work a little better. So it's really, really fun. And you can do it with things that you already have in your house. Now, I was a little nervous. I thought I was going to have to maybe stop by the museum to get some more random things to make a sculpture out of because I've been doing a lot of that lately with you guys. So I was really, really surprised when I dug into my closets and my drawers and I found more stuff. So I don't know if you're anything like me, but you might have more stuff laying around than you possibly even imagined. So go dig through those drawers and closets and, just find some random objects that you think might make a fun sculpture. But first, let's have a look at those Thomas Barnes sculptures, and that also might give you some inspiration.
The first sculpture we're going to look at by Thomas Barnes is entitled Man with a Ruff. At first glance, it just looks like a Shakespearean character painted in red and yellow. However, if you look more closely, you'll notice a toy and some other items. Let's look closely at his sculpture Man with a Hamburg. Inside it, you're going to notice some different objects. A baseball, there's a large tree branch, a lampshade, all covered in concrete. He ties these objects together by painting them the same color and then illustrating them to look like something completely different. Now let's get started with our own sculptures. I have gathered together a few items that are going to be helpful. Some wire cutters perhaps, some scissors, nice sharp ones. And I've got a glue gun. That's really good for sort of temporarily when you need to do something quickly. E6000 is a great all-purpose craft glue. And some yarn. We might need some yarn at some point. Perhaps we're going to need some wire. These are all things that are good for fastening things together. Also, I have some Elmer's glue in a bowl. I buy it by the gallon and I use it for paper mache, so I keep it in a bowl. I'm going to start with the top of a cigar box that I have. So as we go, I'll let you know the items that I pulled together. I have some wooden spoons that at one point I was using for puppetry, and I'm not doing that anymore, so I can use those. I have this chai tea can. It smells really good. And I think I'm going to use that as my base to start with. And I'm just going to play with the items a little bit and see how I want them to go together. You need to just sort of play with things a little bit, give it some thought, see how things are going to work together. And I'm going to put a little E6000 around the rim of that can to attach it to the base. Now, when you can, you're going to want to use that E6000 because it'll join various types of material together really well, and it'll be fairly sturdy. And I'm just playing with some other things here. Like, I really like this bottle, but in the end it just didn't work. So now I have my glue gun out for cases where you need something to stick rather quickly. And I'm trying to, in most of the cases, reinforce that with something else later down the line, either with a little bit of E6000 or with paper mache. So I'm trying not to have it where it's just the glue gun at any point, just because it's not the sturdiest. It can pop loose later. But if that's all you have, then it's perfectly fine. It'll just be a little bit more fragile. I have this little sewing case that I don't remember where I got it from, but it's a cool shape, and I thought it would be interesting as a torso. It was just about figuring out where to put it. I am using the glue gun. I went back later and I reinforced that with E6000 and paper mache. Okay, so I'm just getting this. I started seeing this as a skirt. And I was thinking like a Bauhaus type skirt. So it was all about figuring out how to attach that at the bottom. And I ended up just taking the wire and wrapping it around one of the spoons. And later on, I'm going to do a little bit of paper mache there so it'll be sturdy. And here I am. I'm doing paper mache down over the spoon, sort of in the middle of the skirt. Just to give some stability and just to sort of iron out that shape a little bit. And I went up through the top, and now I am taping some wire. These are going to be sort of arm shapes. So I'm taping the wire there just so I can put E6000 there. I really think that's going to be a sturdier join than the glue gun right there. So I just gave that some time to set, about half an hour. I think it takes a longer to cure for sure, but it sets in about, about 30 minutes. And so I am reinforcing the waist because one of the things you want to think about when you're building something freestanding is balance. And this is a very thin area. I'm going to add more weight to the top, so I knew that I would need something to sort of shore that up a little bit. Now, the second thing I'm doing is I'm taking a little bit of this yarn, and I'm actually going to twist that around and sort of pull that back towards the skirt and attach that to the wire, and that's going to help a little bit too with the sturdiness of it. So you want to think about, as you build things up, how you're going to balance these things, and you want to make sure you don't have too much weight on the top because then your sculpture will fall over. And then okay, so I got a full disclosure. I did not have this face when I started the sculpture, but I went around, I thought maybe I could find a ball or something, but then I found that face and I just couldn't resist. So I've got some barbecue skewers, and I have a little barrette that I've glued to the little hand there. And I'm making sort of a pointy, scary fan thing. And again, gluing the head with the E6000 and just taping it in. And then a little bow on the other hand so that we've got a little bit of balance, something in each hand. So, as you work, you want to walk around, look at it from different angles. That's really important when you're doing a sculpture, a freestanding sculpture. So I've got my knife. I've got this little foam ball in the back of the head to sort of give the head a little bit of depth. And I cut a hole in it, and I'm putting some E6000 in there. And I have this weird little thing that the kids had, some sort of, I don't know, it looks like a strange protractor or something, but I thought it would make a really cool piece for the top of her head. And I've got this cool fabric that I bought for Eric to make something, but that's not going to happen. So I am using a little bit of it to make this skirt of this figure. And I'm just sewing the bottom, just a little whip stitch. And here she is halfway through. Now I'm actually going to go back and paint her one color just to create some unity in the piece.
Yeah, there's nothing disturbing about that at all, is there? Yeah, I think I've gone Carrie after the prom. Well, we'll see. I'm gonna add some accent in purple, and I think there's another layer of spray paint. I'm kind of liking it, but yeah, it got creepier somehow. I actually thought painting it red would make it less creepy. I don't know what I was thinking. Well, let's just see where it goes.
So I did add those purple accents, and I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. I think the purple just really makes the red pop, and I think it's a fun and interesting piece. Still a little creepy, but that's okay. It's what happened. I had a great time with her. So I just let the objects guide me, and I ended up in a fun place with this sort of kooky character, and it was a blast.
Thanks for joining us for another AMoA Art Together Tuesday. Hope you had fun today. Keep making, stay creative, be well, and we will see you next week.